My name is Thad Riley, and this is episode number 294 of the Thadcast. Thank you for joining me here today. We need to talk about the truth, my friends. The truth about the world that we live in, specifically our country, and what Jesus and the scriptures have to say about the truth. You know, the truth is very interesting today because it is so subjective, based upon what the storyteller wants it to be. And it shouldn't be that way. It should never, ever, ever be that way. You know, first of all, the Bible teaches us that the core of the truth is love. 1 Corinthians 13:6, love does not rejoice about injustice, but rejoices whenever the truth wins out. You see, the first two commandments are to love God and to love our neighbor. And the big piece of that is to speak truth, to tell the truth, not just your perspective of truth, but the actual facts of what is happening in our world and around us. But the truth does not come easy. Ephesians 6:14 says, stand your ground, putting on a belt of truth and the body armor of God's righteousness. 2 Corinthians 13:8 says, for we cannot oppose the truth, but must always stand for the truth. And finally, and you will know the truth, and the truth will set you free, from John 8:32. And that's specifically talking about the truths of the teachings of Jesus. Does the real truth matter, not the subjective so-called truths of the media today? Massive stories in our country are being ignored because they don't fall into the political hopes of the mainstream media, of the liberal elite. And because they do not, stories like we heard yesterday on Tucker Carlson with Tony Bobulinski, that's fun to say 3 times, Bobulinski. Tony Bobulinski's story should not be silenced. His words are not only powerful, they're important for our nation today. You know, the funny thing about Tony Bobulinski, they were trying to figure out what his motive might be. Well, if it's to get shot, that might be a piece of it, because he has come forward with truth, documented truth that no one actually has been able to deny any way, shape, or form, except for Adam Schiff, who went out in an interview on CNN with Wolf Blitzer and says, this is Russian disinformation. Do they have any actually proof that it is? No. They have actually no proof that this is Russian disinformation, while Tony Bobulinski has mountains of proof of what is going on. And what it is corruption. Millions and millions of dollars worth of deals to the BD, the Biden family, from China and Russia, and involvement in the Ukraine. If you have not watched the Tony Bobulinski video or interview with Tucker Carlson, that is because you are choosing not to. Maybe you haven't quite caught up on it yet, and that's okay. Don't you dare go into that voting booth and not have some level of exposure to what happened. Documented beyond documented, from a guy who has only given money to Democratic Party candidates throughout his life. But he wants the American people to know exactly what is going on with the level of corruptions from the chairman also known as Joe Biden. If you look at Hunter Biden's texts and communications, this is what it is. And we need to understand and dive in to this information and the massive millions of dollars, $9 billion between China, Ukraine, Russia, and Hunter Biden. Where is all this money going? Where did it go? What is happening with this? You know, Jim Biden and Hunter Biden. Jim Biden is the brother of Joe Biden. Running this international company, the only qualification that they even have to be an international business before this is the fact that they're Joe Biden's brother. That's it. There's no other qualifications that Hunter ever had or Jim Biden ever had that would give them privy into these deals. In fact, so much so, if you look at what was really going on, Hunter Biden was acting as the personal attorney for the man in charge of China, for China's prime minister. I want you to think about that for a second. I want you to think about our world, where we live today, and what is okay and what is not okay. And my friends, this is not okay. The corruption around Joe Biden and his family has finally fully come to light. And we can't have that sitting in the Oval Office. I don't talk a ton about politics on here, although it makes up a big part of my life outside of the Thadcast, is because I feel that it doesn't bring as much hope as I would like it to in this spectrum. My friends, this is a hopeful conversation. They all are, because why? Because Jesus is still king, and he will always be king. And number two is, we have hope in our country if Joe Biden does not get elected for the next 4 years. If he does, he's compromised. As Tony Bobulinski said, Joe's already compromised to China. We have a president today who stands up to foreign powers. He doesn't need anybody's money. His family doesn't need anybody's money. He's not in anyone's pocket. This is the difference that President Trump has given us before any other candidate, and it's worthy to speak of. Financially, he's never been in anyone's pocket. The art of the deal, he talks about the deals that he makes, but he made those deals. He made his money. The guy's pretty much a billionaire. There was nothing for him to gain by being president but a world of headaches. And if you look at the policies, he's done an amazing job. He is the most pro-life president in the history of our country. And most of the so-called scandals are media-driven and have not been proven, hence the Russia collusion and what has gone on with the Democratic Party. Does the truth matter? Well, it does and it doesn't. It may not matter to you and your politics. It may not matter to this rage inside of you towards the president. It may not matter if it's not convenient. The inconvenient truth has nothing to do with some Al Gore movie. The inconvenient truth is that we have a swamp in D.C. and people from both parties are involved in it. And none more so than the man who is at the top of the Democratic Party's ticket, Joe Biden. If I can urge anything for you, my friends, it's this: get serious. Dig in, watch the interview with Tony Bobulinski. Understand there is massive collusion between the Biden family and China and Russia and Ukraine. And having him in the Oval Office means we always have a president who is under China's thumb. He may even actually be impeached in the first few months in office because of this, as more details come to light. And then your president is Kamala Harris. So I want you to think about that. I want you to consider where we've been as a country. And until COVID-19 hit, the economy and so many things were going right. If you and I are going to stand up and do the right thing, it starts in the voting booth. And then the next thing we do is we get everybody who thinks like we do, who understands that President Trump needs to get reelected, back into that voting booth. I've found that a lot of people don't like me talking about these things because I'm a hopeful guy. And I love our country. I love this country, y'all. I love the history of this country. I love what our country is all about today and yesterday. Such an amazing place to be born and to live our life. My encouragement to you, my friends, is to embrace that and do the right thing right now, today, and give our country the hope of another great 4 years, as the president in so many ways has done. Put yourself away from this drama of the media. Put yourself away. Separate yourself from Twitter, from all the craziness. And this includes the president's Twitter account. You can separate yourself from that because he has a way of doing things that I don't agree with when it comes to Twitter. That's about the only thing that we would disagree with this president, because he has taken so much of a train wreck and made it good. I always appreciate your feedback, and I'd love it on this episode today. But what I would appreciate more is your watching that interview with Tony Bobulinski, looking at the documented facts, not the spin, none of the spin. Just look at the facts. The Tucker Carlson interview is great because Tucker's not offering opinions. He's just asking questions. And go and vote. It's an important time. It's an important moment in the history of this country, and we need to make the right decision. I believe that we will. I'm excited for you. I'm excited for me. I've talked about an October surprise, one of three things it could be. This was one of them, and here we are. It's Wednesday before the election. We have a lot to pray about, and I would encourage you to do so, to pray for our president, pray for Joe Biden and his family, as they're going through probably a lot right now, both of those families. Pray for our country, the future of our country. It's never been a better time to pray for our nation. It's never been a better time to speak truth. Listen, our goal, my friends, my goal is not to unite with people who are wrong, who are living a false narrative. I don't want to unite with people who have filled their heads with fake history and bad news and bad tidings for people who don't look and don't act like them. That's the beauty of being in a relationship with Jesus. This is an all-inclusive type of thing. Doesn't matter who you are or where you've been. It's so good. It's so good. My dear friends, watch the interview. Get the facts. Get the information. And get out there and vote. Make sure you vote. Do an absentee ballot ASAP or go to the polls on Tuesday and make it happen. Well, that is it. That is it for episode number 294 of the Thadcast. I know it's a little different today. It's more of a challenge to you to dig in, to dig deep, and to live in the truth. Thank you for joining me here. As always, if you could, share this with one friend or on social media. That helps. iTunes reviews help a ton. I just don't have enough of them. My gosh, if y'all could get on there, that would be amazing. If you just took 1 minute to do a review on iTunes of the Thadcast, that would help me so much. Well, anyway, that's it today for this episode. Thank you again for joining me, my dear friends. And may God bless you and encourage you throughout every moment of your day today as you live in his truth, of his goodness, of all that Jesus is, all that he's done for you, and what's going to be like when he comes back on clouds of fire and descends and creates a new earth for us. Oh, God bless y'all. And until next time, may you be blessed.